I never thought the word yes could change the rhythm of my life so completely. It wasn't an engagement proposal or a big career leap. It wasn't even a spontaneous adventure across the country. It was a yes that slipped out of my mouth before I had the chance to measure the weight of it. I said yes to a man who, by all accounts, I should have kept at a polite distance, my best friend's ex-boss. The night it happened was one of those rare evenings in early spring when New York was soft around the edges. The air didn't bite anymore, but it hadn't grown heavy with summer heat yet either. I was sitting at a rooftop bar in Brooklyn with my friend, Hannah, nursing a glass of white wine and half listening as she vented about her job hunt. She had quit her last position 2 months earlier, a bold move that she swore she didn't regret, though the tightness in her smile told me otherwise. "I can't work for people like him again," she said, pushing her hair behind her ear with a sharp flick of her hand. "Controlling, arrogant, thinks he's doing you a favor by letting you breathe in his office." I nodded, sympathetic, even though I'd never met her ex-boss in person. I'd only heard about him in fragments, his temper when deals went sideways, his impossible standards, his sharp suits and sharper words. To me, he was just a name that floated through our conversations like a dark cloud, Nathan Caldwell. She leaned closer, lowering her voice like we were sharing state secrets. "Promise me, if you ever meet him, don't fall for his act. He has this way of making you feel like you're the only person in the room, like he sees something in you no one else does. But it's just smoke. He's toxic." I promised, of course. What else could I say? Hannah was my best friend, practically my sister. If she hated him, then I hated him by proxy. That was the rule. And then, less than 2 weeks later, I met him. It was at a charity gala my company had bought a table for. I wasn't even supposed to go, but my boss had a last-minute family emergency and shoved the ticket into my hand. The ballroom glittered with chandeliers, strings of fairy lights twinkled along the balconies, and everyone looked like they'd stepped out of the glossy pages of a magazine. I felt both out of place and oddly electrified, like the night was humming with possibility. I was halfway through balancing a tiny plate of hors d'oeuvres and a glass of champagne when I heard a voice behind me, low, confident, the kind of voice that seemed to lean into you without permission. "Those crab cakes are worth the line." I turned, and there he was. Tall, broad-shouldered, a tuxedo cut sharp against his frame. His eyes, gray, maybe blue, it was hard to tell in the dim light, swept over me with a kind of amused interest, like he'd already decided we were sharing some private joke. I didn't need an introduction. I knew instantly this was him. Nathan Caldwell. The man my best friend had practically branded a villain. I should have walked away. I should have remembered her warning and excused myself with some polite excuse. But instead, I smiled back, and to my own surprise, I laughed. "They better be," I said. "I've been guarding this plate like it's treasure." His smile deepened, slow and deliberate, as though he were savoring the moment. "Mind if I steal one?" And just like that, he stole more than a crab cake. We ended up talking longer than I meant to. About the charity, about the city, about books and movies and things that seemed inconsequential but somehow felt important when exchanged under the chandelier light. He wasn't what Hannah had described. Or maybe he was, and I just didn't see it. He was attentive, leaning in when I spoke, asking questions like he actually cared about the answers. There was a steadiness about him, a gravitational pull that made the crowded room fade into a blur. When he asked for my number, I hesitated only for a second before giving it. The first time he texted, I told myself I didn't have to reply. The first time he asked me to dinner, I told myself I could always cancel. But when he looked at me across that table, when his hand brushed mine like it had always belonged there, I didn't cancel. I didn't walk away. I said yes. Yes to dinner. Yes to the way he made me laugh. Yes to the way his presence quieted the noise in my head. Yes to the possibility that Hannah had been wrong. Except, Hannah wasn't wrong, not entirely. And that truth would come back for me like a shadow I couldn't outrun. Please like and subscribe my channel for more romantic videos.